Alright, welcome to this video tutorial going to talk about some of the problems in the 2016 Marquette Spring Programming Competition, beginning with no negativity, the first problem, which asks us to compute the sum of numbers in a list, ignoring the negative values. So I'm just going to start by reading in the input as it is described on the sheet. I'll do that with a scanner object. Call this scanner keyboard. So the first value that we're going to get when we run this program is the number of runs, so I'm just going to call that runs. And because of the way scanner works, keyboard, there we go. So because of the way that scanner works, we're actually going to need to call keyboard.nextLine, making the same mistake I just did, one more time because we're about to read in a string and scanner does its buffering kind of strangely. So we just have to have that line in there just to kind of make things work out all right. And I'm about to go into a loop for the entire program, which will control the number of runs. So I'm going to make a variable called current run and set that to 0. Now, for each run that we entered, we need to just calculate the sum as we are told to. So there are a couple of ways to read an input. The way that I'm going to do it is by making a scanner for each line that is entered. You can also do it by just taking in a string and parsing out the integers. That was a popular solution. But I like this a little bit more just because I have access to the scanner API, which will give me a little bit more flexibility. So I'm going to make this scanner on keyboard.nextLine, and I'm going to call that line scan. And I'm just going to set my sum variable to 0 to begin with. So now we are going to loop while each line that we're scanning has another int in the buffer. And the next int in the buffer we're just going to call next int, which we will read like this. And then, of course, since we are not supposed to factor in negatives, we will only add this to our sum if next int is greater than 0. So I will be doing that by typing sum plus equals next int. And just to clean up a little bit after ourselves, we will close this line scanner. And at the end of every run, we can print out our sum. And of course, we can't forget to increase the current run number. And finally, just close that outside scanner as well when the entire program is done. All right, so let's run this and see if it works. Let me pull up my test input here. So we'll use 2 test cases, and we will enter each of those. Looks like my 43, my first answer, just appeared on that line right there. And the other answer is 76, which is what we're expecting. So that's pretty much all there is to this program. I'd say the tricky part about this one is just knowing how to read in the input, and probably the easiest way to do that is just by opening a scanner on the first line, or every line of the test case, just opening a new scanner on that, so that you can nicely look through each line. And after that, it's pretty straightforward. So feel free to join me in the next video when we talk about ducks.